is a radical innovation? The radical innovation is very, very, very advanced. Like you use robotics, you use artificial intelligence, you use blockchain technologies, you use the very advanced genome sequencing methods. So when you use any kind of these technologies and embed in any kind of innovation, then that's referred as a radical innovation. And many examples are there for radical, and also we have disruptive innovation. So the Tesla car is the best example that works completely on electric mode, and we have completely taken out the conventional engines, the four-stroke engines. So we have been using that for a long time, where there are a number of parts that has to be mobilized internally to make a combustion, and then further, the energy would be generated and a power would be generated that would be utilized for mobility of the vehicles. So now, for the first time, the electric-based cars, Tesla cars, have completely changed. So that's a disruption wherein the electricity would be generated from a core element, and then that would be enough to mobilize the car. So it is even having artificial intelligence. It has a number of sensors that would recognize the road signs and take a decision on its own. Sustaining innovations are the one where the product would be remained in the market for a long time with a good the demand. So that's how you have to see. So iPhones are the best examples, where for every new version there would be a great demand every year. So that's how the product have been sustaining in the market. So what I mean to say is that, so by considering all these types of innovations, my dear students, faculty, and innovators, you have to think your innovation in such a way that it should create a very good market, a very good commercialization, and also a very sustainable, the market that should have for your product by embedding any kind of technologies. So we have seen the fourth industrial. We have been right now in the fourth industrial revolution, wherein we have first generation with steam, second one with electricity, third one with computing, and now we are in the cognification industry 4.0, and where physical, digital, and biological, in all these aspects, we have been looking into many of the technologies, disrupting and also creating a sustaining innovations. So that's where we are in. So you have 3D printers, you have robotics, you have IoT, you have blockchain technologies, you have a very, very advanced, the methods in life sciences. Now, because of the COVID pandemic, we have seen a very good disruption in vaccine production. So what is at the end? We show a very good economy, a kind of business growth, a national development, a societal development, and individual growth as well. So one of the major sector in manufacturing is Msme Sector, which is referred as micro, small, and medium enterprises. So we have the raw material. You can come up with an innovation in the raw material, in the process, in the machinery, manufacturing of the machineries, in the production, in the technology, in the engineering, in transport, in supply chain management, and also in packaging technologies. You have different fields like this. You can select one of them, and then you can do any kind of innovation by giving a solution to the problem statement. So giving a solution to the problem statement is very much important, because the innovation starts with the problem statement. If there is a gap in any of the innovations, in any of the processes, then that will definitely give you an innovation. So all the innovators should start with a problem statement. You should define your problem statement and try to fill up the gap with the commercialization of the product and giving mass manufacturing of the product and becoming a startup company. So this is what the exact definitions of MSME sector is. Like, the manufacturing sector, we do have a classification wherein the investment should be less than 1 crore rupees. And in service sector, the less than 5 crore rupees, that's termed as, micro entrepreneurs or micro entrepreneurship. Small, the small enterprises will have a 10 crore and less than 50 crore turnover for both manufacturing and service sector. And for a medium, you have investments like 20 crores to 100 crores, less than 20 and 100 crores for manufacturing and services sector. So this is the broad classification of an MSME. So why the SME business is growing? SME is nothing but small and medium enterprises. So that's how the MSMEs are. And so one of the major the parameters, or you can say the factors which are responsible, are nothing but you have a good import substitution. You have you can make a competitiveness in the market, in the export markets, and operational flexibility, a low investment requirements. So these are some of the reasons behind for the growth in the SME business. And SME business will completely share a very good percentage in terms of the GDP growth of a country. When we talk about the MSME sector, wherein you have many of the different subcategories, and you can see here I have plotted the percentage of sharing. So most of it comes from the sectors like wearing apparels, and a good number of percentage comes in manufacturing of the food and beverages. And many of the areas like we have mentioned here, fabricated metal, textiles, manufacturing, and electronics and IT services. So let us, when we talk about the innovations in electronics and IT sector, what are the best areas where you can choose and go with the problem statement and define a solution through your innovation. You have blue LED and the mesh technology, and then the Bluetooth mesh technology, or Bluetooth enabled technologies, and embedded systems, nanoelectronics, renewable technologies, edge computing, PCB designs, RFID and near field communications, biometrics, and fiber optic communications. So you come up with a problem statement, and then you make an innovation. So most of you in academics might have been doing a very good analysis of the existing data and coming up with some kind of the softwares and a product development as well. So your college has a very good, just I have seen that you have a good facilities, a good R&D, a good number of academic professors who are the mentors for you. So students should compulsorily take one mentor and work on particular project. So the project should start with a problem statement. So you identify the gaps within the project, and then you try to complete and then give a solution for that. That's how you have to do. So you have a best technologies. You have in your lab, like I have seen just now that MATLAB is there, which is used for plotting of the functional functions and datas. And you have I have seen OrCAD and also Mentor graphics softwares, which are actually used as an electronic design automation softwares, and spectrum analyzers. So those are the best devices that will analyzes the RF signals, and that would support you a lot. So that's how I can say. So you have many of the areas like digital signal processing, image processing, VLSI, microprocessors, radar systems, and then satellite communication systems, optical communications, wireless communications, cellular mobile communications, and bioelectronics. Yes, of course. And we are in this area right now. Bluetooth mesh technology for industrial Internet of Things. If you take, we have a cloud where the network could be accessed through your devices, through a mesh of networks, and the Bluetooth is connected to monitor any kind of the parameter like carbon dioxide, IR, temperature, or you can add any kind of sensors and actuators. So we have seen embedded systems have been working a lot in many of the machines like ATMs and also washing machines for a long time, for many of the decades, and that's a wonderful the technology where embedded systems are creating a very good devices like that starts with a database, and through a gateway concentrators you can monitor any kind of the applications. Like here in this case we have water consumption sensors that monitor the water levels. Yes, of course, bioelectronics. So that's what we take analyte a sample, and then we pour it into the substratum, a device upon which the analyte would be detected electronically, and then that would be amplified through a processor and displayed in the end, showing you the result whether it is positive or negative. In case of coronavirus, it is in the same way what we do the RT-PCR. and also the checking of the sugar levels for the diabetic patients. So now we have seen PVC's photovoltaic cells for a long time, where there is an PN junction diode, the positive hole and then negative electrons would move and then create a current, electricity through the sunlight, heat. And now we have seen the plasma based solar panels, which are very thin and also coming in a very flexible ways, and you can trap most of the solar energy and get a very good efficiency in your the electricity production or its generation. So now we are in this area where the different technologies has to be embedded in 4.0 of industry, and you have to use these technologies. And remember that you should come up with an innovation by using these technologies into your problem statement, any of the problem statement you define, and then come up with a solution. So I strongly urge that you work out on the industries, different industries. You go there and then you just sit down for one day, you will see a lot of gaps that is coming in the technological developments. You take that and then you come up back to your college or your R&D center, and then you work out on your prototype development, where now we have incubation centers that would support you for the development of your prototypes and products. This is the best example I always take for blockchain technology, where the certificate authentication can be done. We have the blocks, different blocks which are piled, and then you take a block that is having a particular hash code. The hash code is connected to a certificate. The certificate will be can be opened or closed by a key. The key is monitored again with the database. So that's how the blockchain works, through a cryptocurrency mode. And now your certificate is an authenticated one, where any person who wants the authentication of a certificate can give a request that would be generated with the blocks and the blockchain, and it will show that the certificate is a very genuine one. So this is the best example to prohibit the morphed certificates or the bogus certificates, and this is the best example of a blockchain technology. Drone technologies, which are now the era what we are working. Most of the drones are coming in different sizes, different payloads, and with different functions and different applications. So all of them comes with a common, the fabrication or the compilation, and how we do is through some of the parts, like it is having a receiver, a transmitters, and having the antennas and some of the controllers and motors. So that's how we make a drone. So now in the recent times, we have been working on a smart shopping cart, where it is connected with an RFID antenna and also an NFC reader. You just put all the products inside this cart, and you will get automatically the listed the products in your software or to your mobile phone, that is again connected to the payment gateway, and you can just walk out with this card from the shopping mall, and you can go ahead and save your time, further time, and then you can unload it, and then you just go off. That's how it works. Yes, some of the innovations in COVID-19 times, the COVID-19 pandemic time, and we have seen that these are the areas like the personal protective equipment and the critical care equipment, testing kits, large area sanitizations, and some of the geofencing and tracking devices, and also the formulation of the tablets and capsules for the COVID patients, and parenteral products, which are referred as the injections, and surgical and packaging technologies. So these are the areas where you can come up with an innovation, and we have seen that the ventilators, oxygen concentrators, oxygen cylinders have been in a large deficiency across the country, and you can come up with an innovation by working on its model. It's having a both mechanical and electronic parts. So even we have the startups who have come up with the best oxygen concentrators and ventilator parts, like the components, two-way splitter and three-way splitter, where they are doing 3D printing of that and meeting to the the industry demand, and also solving the problems of ventilators, oxygen concentrators as well. Yes, of course, the N95 mask, which is always a great demand right now because of the virus, it should be approved by NIOSH, which is a regulatory agency in the world, and that's how we make an very 0.05 micron level N95 mask, and most of them mask will filter the virus and also bacteria, but making sure that the coronavirus has to be filtered, which is about 0.016 micron size. So we have the innovations in face mask, in the aprons or the hazmat suit, and also the the hand gloves, and so that's how the shields are also being made against the air and also the droplets. So that's how the innovations should be come up. And RT-PCR is the only machine which is used for the detection of the virus, coronavirus, and this is how it works. We take the viral RNA and then convert that into a DNA, and then we add some of the primers and probes, and then we will make the amplification of the DNA and test it for positive or negative result. And most of the startups nowadays have worked upon the primer and probe design, which is a crucial part, and that's how the innovation point is. So where should I work? What are the right places for me? So what are the legal and the ethical ways of doing an innovation? So the most of the legal and ethical ways of doing an innovation starts where you have a problem statement and a solution. So the incubators, incubation centers, or the business incubation centers are the right place for you. So you have an accelerators which will give you a more a more support in terms of funding and also in mentoring and networking connections. So business incubator or incubation center is the one which will provide you a platform for your innovation to commercialize your product, and also support the startups which are in early stages, in their midway, and also in the growth stages. So a startup is the one which is having innovation, which should be a private limited LLP company or a partnership company, and should have a less than 100 crores turnover, and also registered one with at least 10 years below. It should be the registered one or unregistered one, because you start with your POC and idea. So that's called as a startup. So this is the same what I have just spoken. And even we have unicorns. Unicorns are the startup companies which is having a valuation of $1 billion US. In Indian rupees, it is 7,400 crores approximately. So we have best unicorns in India as well. So countries with incubation centers like China, US, India, South Korea. In India, we have more number of the incubation centers right now, about 300 plus. In the world, we have best incubators like Y Combinator, Capital Factory, VitaWorks, Seed Camps. So those are the best incubation centers in the world. So what is the role and how do you plan to become a startup? So to become a startup, and also the main advantage is that you create a jobs. You become an entrepreneur. You will contribute to the nation in a great way by improving its economy. So that's how the startup is, and that's how the contribution of the startup. And you should plan to become a startup. And there are more risk, of course, but risk management is there, and there is a path which was defined, and we have role models. We have many people who will teach you, so who will make you to become more successful. So that will happen only through incubation centers, because incubation centers are the places and that will support you. So what are the legal and ethical steps? So you have to define your objective first of all. So when you define your objective, you have to complete your all proof of concept and also your ideation, your innovation point. Suppose say that you are making a device that will makes a sensing of any kind of water management, or that detects some of the chemicals and toxins in the water. And you have observed that such kind of device is not present in the market. So that's the gap, and that's where there is a great demand. We require, many of the industries, many of the government sectors require some kind of device to test the water samples and give you a proper result. So you will be working upon such device by using your electronics lab, your R&D lab. So that's how you start. So define your objective first of all, and determine the research design as well. So the research design, determining the research design will comes with an experts. You have mentors, you have scientific mentors, you have your people, your professors in your hand, your researchers in your hand, scientists in your college available. So I see Dr. R.P. Singh, who is also a very good scientist in the DRDO. So that's how he happened to establish R&D, and it's very quite good to know that. So people like mentors are present, such kind of mentors are present. It's a great opportunity for you people. You need not think about the best and premier institutes. So it is your institute is enough for you to go ahead and work out. So you come up with a problem state, a research design, and then you work out on that, and you can prepare a complete research instrument as well. So you prepare the step-by-step procedure, what just I have spoken, and you make it an innovation point. So where exactly the innovation defines an indicator with. So the indicator is nothing but the intellectual property, which is called as patent. So every innovation should be patented. The indicator for innovation is patent. If you make a patent, then it is called as an innovation. So that's the parameter. So you have to have a patent and then make a patent, a registration of a patent by getting a provisional patent at least, and then you work out on your product development further. So you have to collect the data, you have to analyze the data, and then you have to visualize the data and communicate the findings, and that's how you have to do with your innovation point. So you have to have done a patenting, filing for a patent at least. So this is where you start with idea. So that's what the ideation, any kind of innovation idea, proof of concept. So which is nothing but the script and a laboratory scale level of your product, and a prototype, it's nothing but your TRL stages. I have mentioned just here TRL stages, which is technology readiness level or prototype readiness level. That's how there are about 9 levels of TRL stages, 1 to 9, out of which TRL 5th stage is the one where you will get your product, and the 9th stage where your product would be commercialized stage. So TRL stages are the one which we will be defining step by step by adding number of functions to the product, to the prototype, and making into a product. Most of the the NASA, ISRO, DRDO, most of the people will work out on TRL stages. So that's how you have to adapt for yourself. And MVP is nothing but the minimum viable product, which is actually the ready-made stage of a product that would be commercialized in the market. And even you might have done some kind of market research and market survey, and your product have got some kind of feedback in the market and among the customers. So that is referred as MVP stage of the product. That means you have done some kind of marketing for your product and got a good feedback. That is called of minimum viable product. So your college have been conducting a lot of hackathons and ideathons. I see that you have won many of the awards in most of the hackathons and ideathons. That's very good, and I appreciate. And further, I encourage you people to contact us and also apply most of your projects and prototypes for any kind of further support. So boot camps are the one where we will be doing a very good prototype development and making into a product. So this is what you can do, and these are the best ethical and legal practices where you come up with some of the points like the confidential matters. So the non-disclosure agreements would be made among the incubator and the innovator. So that's how we do a lot of documentation. Or the confidential disclosure agreements are the one where we put up your innovation as a secret and we won't let it out, but most of the the description about the innovation in terms of at the superficial level, that would be disclosed, and that is very much required to reach the investors, and also to reach to the other bankers for loans. So that's how you have to disclose some kind of information, of course not the innovation point, but at superficial level. So we'll be doing some kind of CDAs and NDAs and preserving your all innovation, and that's how it will be taken further in your startup journey. So these are some of the practices, and moreover we have mentoring sessions where the mentors, like industry mentors, business mentors, and also technical mentors would be supported. Even we do the agreements with the mentors. Some of the CDAs, NDAs would be done among the incubator, mentor, and also innovator. So what does the incubation center provides? What exactly and how it would be useful to you? So now incubation centers give you a lot of services like infrastructure, business services, financing, people connectivity, networking, and providing you the knowledge, and also the brand building, and some of the best services end to end we provide. There are about more than 200 in India incubation centers like LBIs, Livelihood Business Incubation Center, and also technology-based incubation centers, Acle incubation centers, Acle community incubation centers, and we have more than 7,000 startups in India. And some of the unicorns are the one which are having the valuation of $1 billion US, like Delivery, Freshworks, Policy Bazaar, etc. What exactly incubation center would be like? You start with ideation prototype. You become a startup with a seed fund amount from the incubation center or from any other agencies. You expand your startup and you come a maturity and graduation level. So we start with an pre-incubation stage. We validate your business model. We develop your innovation further. We will go to the market, and then we will give you more funds. So this is what the stages of innovation of an incubation center is. So this is what exactly how you have to be a startup, and what is an innovation, and also different types of innovations, what are the legal and the ethical aspects, what are different agreements what we do, and different incubation centers, the process, the stages. So everything was told, and then now I think I have another presentation right now, so I will be sharing that. So if you have any questions, you can ask me right now. Meanwhile, yeah.
Sir, I am principal of this college, Dr. J.P. Singh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, regarding something about the legal and ethical setups, you can elaborate slightly more. What are the legal aspects for you start the incubation center?
So for an incubation center, you should have a registered Section 8 company, and then you should have all the MOAs and AOAs in your hand, like the articles of association, and also the MOAs, which is the memorandum of associations, and then you have a registration of your Section 8 company, and then you have to start with a minimum of investment. So that is always been appreciated, and so you should register that in even in the MSME sector, and also you should register that within the Startup India as well. So that's how you start with respect to the legal aspects, and it is better always that you should have some kind of infrastructure in your hand, at least some 2,000 square feet of area for an incubation support, a dedicated space for these startups. So that's how you can move on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So let us see the unique manufacturing multi-sector incubation center for MSME startups. For the first time in India, we are introducing, and we are the MSME based incubation center, which is called as Acle Incubation Center, Association of Lady Entrepreneurs of India, Women Entrepreneurs Hub. So I will be covering most of the topics, like what exactly Acle Hub is, and what is the screening process for the startups, and what is an pre-incubation stage incubation program, mentorship programs, networks, and acceleration funding support, and what are the success stories of the startups. So I would like to give you a glance about our organization. LEP is Association of Lady Entrepreneurs of India. We are the 27 years old Section 8 not-for-profit company, and it has been supporting the women entrepreneurs for a long time, and 52,540 women livelihoods were supported, in terms of women entrepreneurship. It is exclusively only for women entrepreneurship. So Section 8 company only works for the women entrepreneurship development. Of course, there are men, and where we support, at least we will be giving some kind of a percentage of quota to the men also, about 25% and 75% for the women. So about 3,000 success stories we have. We have many women entrepreneurs, industrialists, and we have created about 4 lakh plus jobs. We have a cell called FAB, which is the Accelerator Business Cell, where ideas would be converted into business, and every year about 1,000 women would be guided. We are having Center for Entrepreneurship Development, wherein established 24 years back. Every year we do 40 programs, and 2,000 entrepreneurs would be graduated from that institute. We have infrastructure where 6 industrial parks are present in AP and Telangana states, covering about 274 acres. About 500 women units are present. So in Hyderabad, we do have Alip Industrial Park, where 180 units are present, and we have our incubation center located in the same place. Elite Credit Guarantee Association, through which we give the loans to the women entrepreneurs without any collateral security. And Vande Mataram is an elite Naikunyam domain that works on employable skills, giving the skilling to the unemployed and creating jobs. AAC Alip Bihab is the Acle Incubation Center, which is having 20,000 square feet area and covering most of the sector agnostic areas, and providing missionary in 7 sectors, and supporting 70 startups, 100 mentors, Mighty Tide scheme with 60 programs, 50 MOUs we have done so far. We have Elizone that would support the MSME based women startups. Nearly 10,000 women products would be placed in online e-commerce portal, e-business portal, and that's how we have been supporting with the minimum subscription fee of the products of the women entrepreneurs. We have WITTC, where the International Trade and Technology Center of Women Entrepreneurs are taken shape just very recently, and we are providing international trade through SAARC and Asian countries, and about 10,000 women are being benefited through this technology center, trade and technology center. We have incubation facilities. I have already mentioned that the LBAs and TBAs are there. We have been doing 17 ministerial projects, out of which the PM UA and Strive is right now running with giving skilling and entrepreneurship to ITIs, polytechnic diploma students, and also conducting EDPs to them. So this is what about Elite is, and let us see what is AAC Elite Bihab Acle Incubation Center. We have our CEO and President of Elite, CEO of AAC Elite Bihab, Brahma Devi Madam, where she is the person behind the founder, President of Elite Bihab, and also right now actively working. So now we have done the inauguration of this Acle Incubation Center Elite Bihab in June 2019 with the mission director, former mission director of AM Niti Ayog, Ramanan. And also we have our advisor, Dr. R.M. Ashelkar, who is a national research professor. So how do we start? So this is the best legal and ethical practice of doing an screening method. A screening test or the screening would be done by a committee members, who are the juries coming from industry, academia, R&D, industry associations, banking and financial institutions, and also government sectors. We assess the innovator's role in terms of whether he's having some of the best entrepreneurial traits or not, like whether he's motivated, creative, visionary, taking decisions, flexible, risk taker or not. And then we will see the innovative criteria among your proposal, and then we will take up ahead for the screening and the final evaluation to take you into consideration as a startup. So we evaluate it through a very stringent procedure and protocol, and that's how we select the startups into incubation center who are eligible to apply. Any innovator, any citizen of India, are eligible to apply irrespective of their qualification, because innovation doesn't require any qualification. We have social entrepreneurs, social innovators. We have innovators coming from the ITAs, diplomas, and we have innovators coming from starting from 5th class, 6th class, 7th class. We have many innovators not actively working, or the small child I'm speaking, who have left their education long back, but still many people are there with innovative ideas, and also who have made the products without any proper educational background. That's what I'm speaking. And we do have the innovators of all educational qualifications, up to the people who have done their postdocs, and there is no any dearth, or there is no any limit for that. So we take the innovators and then we try to make their company into a DPIT registration, which requires private limited and all. So which I have already spoken with you previously. So what are the focus sectors we are doing? We are open for all the sectors, but we are providing missionary support in 7 of the sectors like biotechnology, food processing, biodegradable, garments, textiles, ITES, electronics, engineering, 3D printing. We have about 45 startups and 25 startups in incubation and pre-incubation stages, covering about within a year of tenure they would be graduated, and the end-to-end support would be given in terms of the services like these. We are providing R&D facilitation. We have the R&D labs. Even we have the tie-ups with the R&D centers of Government of India, CSIR, ICR, ICAR institutes like NIFTEN, CFTRI, Bharat, ICRISAT, REACH, IMR, NRDC, and FD, and many more are there. And mentoring, we connect 100 mentors through industry experts and technical and business mentors. We facilitate the funding through government schemes, awards, loans, venture capitalists and angel networks. Market access would be given, and business advisory services starting from company registration up to the IPR, and we have technology transfer cell, which is a recognized one from the NRDC. We are the franchise of the technology transfer. If you don't have any idea, you can come on to us where we can show you number of database with any of the innovation in any of the sector, and we will support you for buying the licensing of this technology, and you can commercialize it further. We support with a lot of networking support we do have. For the last 27 years, we do have created a good networking. We have connected the dots, and then we have been supporting the startups, our businesses, startup businesses, entrepreneurs, their businesses. So that's how we have been doing. So we provide you co-working space and a lot of good infrastructure and latest technologies. So now I call all of you innovators to apply for this program. Right now we are open with the application form. I will share you the link to the organizers after the session. Please apply for this pre-incubation program, which is a 6 months program. You can do your work and you can attend this program per month. There would be number of certain hours would be engaged, so you can do your work and you can participate in this program as well, where your innovation would be supported. You will be given access to the workshops for the 6 months. A good mentoring would be provided. We will be taking you for pitching to the investors. We will be giving you an opportunity to pitch for the MIT Type 2.0 scheme of our incubation center. We will be giving you incubation opportunity after the 6 months, and we'll be giving you a certificate. You have to do you have to submit your innovation point or the summary of 1 page through a link which we will be sharing you. So there is no any particular eligibility, just you should be an 80 years of age, and if you have the idea, if you have the prototype, if you have proof of concept, if you have minimum viable product, you are right now invited to apply for this program. And you can you can see that we start with an evaluation, pre-evaluation of your submitted idea, and then we do some sensitization workshops. Right now this is also a best way to approach you people. We do psychometric test, and then we evaluate your idea, and then we create an innovative criteria document, and then we support you to this pre-incubation program, and there would be a nominal incubation fee that would be announced later. So if you are in idea stage, if you are in product MVP stage, if you are in POC prototype stage, these are the benefits that you would get through this program, where the grant support, seed support, mentorship, and a mighty of 4 lakhs grant support. And if you are a product and MVP stage, up to 40 lakhs support, and POC stage up to 7 lakhs support, you would be given an opportunity and you can apply for this program. If you see our incubation center, we created the facility in a such a way that you can do prototyping, you can do the product development, and you can do MVP stage or go to market strategy, and you can test your product in the market. So this is the best infrastructure we have created in all these areas. That is a manufacturing incubation center. If you take biotechnology, we have a fermenter of 500-liter capacity that would manufacture biofertilizers, probiotics, antibiotics, enzymes, and number of proteins. Foods processing center, we have we have a biscuit and a baking manufacturing unit of 1 ton production per day, and we have the best equipment like the rotary oven and also cut and wire machine, a planter mixer, and horizontal floor wrap machine. We have biodegradable blown extruder machine of bioplastic. For the first time in India, we have installed this for production of biodegradable material, where you can customize the material to any kind of form for packaging and also for carrying. We have salts and drying technologies, where the salts making machinery of 1 lakh healthy salts are being manufactured by 6 startups, which are preferred as salts cluster. We have solar dryers that would be doing the fruits and vegetables to solar drying, which is a dehydration technology that retains all the the constituents within the product. We have freeze dryers, which will increase the shelf life of the product to 10 years. Just think about that. 10-year shelf life is there for the products of any kind of food, vegetables, and also the cooked foods. So we have this machinery with us, which is about 8 kg capacity, and that will gives you a good production, and you can able to do any kind of food product, increasing the shelf life, and then you can sell that in the market. We have grinds and spice processing center with roosters and pulverizers and other equipment that will process the grains and also the spices. Electronics lab with all the BOMs and sensors, actuators, and also oscillators, and also the spectrum analyzers, and we have the best equipment like 9 3D printers are available of SLAs, FDM, and also SLA based 3D printers are available. So we have the printing machine on the jute material. For the first time in India, we have brought this machinery where the printing, color printing would be printed on the jute material. We have the Jute Board Association, and then we have been doing a lot of programs with the jute-based products. ITITES is the one where we have supported, we have come up with many of these softwares, advanced softwares. So like, the MATLAB, or we have animation related softwares and all. We have mentoring and support programs. The best mentoring sessions would be provided to the people, and that's how we have been doing. And IPR and technology transfer cell we do have, and we connect you. We do best services in IP, like the trademarks, patents, and the trade secrets and copyrights and geographical indications would be done. And even technology transfer cell, I have already spoken that if you don't have any idea, you can come up and then get associated with us for getting a technology transfer from any of the R&D institute in India, and we can facilitate you, and you can put up the same for the commercialization. So these are some of our startups. We have the startups in different technologies. We have a startup who is making a probiotics for marine pond ecosystem. A clean tech based product who has developed the biofuel from municipal solid waste, an instant diabetic breakfast food, and also the biodegradable articles being made from waste paper, and bioplastic bags are made. And some of the startups are doing the multigrain biscuits manufacturing completely sugar free, and some of them are in the e-commerce business portal giving the best services to the Msme sector. And also the socks, healthy socks startups, we have about 6 startups. I just mentioned about them, which by showing you the machinery as well. So what is the acceleration and funding support? Within 2 years, we have supported 4.6 crores in different types of modes of investments to our startups. It is through the banking loans, through connecting a network where purchase orders would be generated, like about 1.70 crore of purchase orders were generated for Healthy Farms of our startup. Healthy Farms LLP, one of our startup. We have New Inventronics, where she has received the banking loan of 75 lakhs. It is an Jeremy pen, the instrument that is a sterilizer, air sterilizer, and also the surface sterilizer that has been approved by CCMBs, where we have tested that on coronavirus, killing the coronavirus or inactivating the virus. Msme Pharma is the one where they are doing diabetic breakfast multigrain food, where we have connected to Apollo Pharma with a purchase order of minimum of 15 lakhs. So the all SOX cluster have received PMEGP scheme of 25 lakhs each. Altogether, it is going to 1.25 crores. So these are the some of the best. Even Harita Gold have received the 25 lakhs of grant from the Bharat. And most of them have recently got shortlisted for the big grant of 50 lakhs. About 7 startups are there. So TIDE is a technology innovation and development of entrepreneurs, which is a MIT Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, through which we are calling all the applicants for if you have any innovations of these areas, 7 national concerns like infrastructure, transport, environment, health, education, agriculture, and financial inclusion, and also clean tech technologies. So we provide you to entrepreneur in residence 7 lakhs, 4 lakhs of grant. A grant of 7 lakhs, investment of 40 lakhs that will be provided if you have the technologies like IoT, AI, blockchain, robotics, AR, MR, AR, VR, ML, that is machine learning, augmented reality and virtual reality, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. If you have these technologies with you, provided that you are providing some kind of solution to any of these areas, then you are open to apply and also approach us immediately. So we do screening process, we perform hackathons and ideathons. So these are our electronics and IT based companies to whom we have been supporting, and nearly about 35 lakhs of grant was given to 5 startups who are coming with innovation. One of the startup is having IoT in aquaculture, one is Jeremy, one is drone technologies. It can able to uplift a payload of 10 kgs to 30 kgs. He has been giving the solutions to the farmers where biofertilizers would be sprayed in 200 acres of the lands of the agriculture areas, and also coming up with an innovation into the DRDO sector and also defense people, army people. And we have a best nearly 4 startups in edutech, like the edutech for students in robotics. We have the one which will works upon the robotics, like advanced robots made by the IIII RPD, and also the laboratory cleaning robot. And also we do have a shadow watch made by ITA student. And we have a startup which is working best, giving the personalized personalized learning to the students by name Ed Wisely. So let me show you the infrastructure at a glance. This is our office space. These are the best, the touchscreen based devices that would be helpful for the startups to make their business pitch. This is our biotechnology unit with all the instruments and equipment, industrial level equipment, R&D, covering all, prototyping, product development, MVP stage with 500 liter fermenter. I've already shown you. And this is about the bioplastic machine. For the first time in India, we are commissioning that. About 0.7 tons per day can be manufactured by using this machine, bioplastics, where you can have any kind of raw material from the starch or cellulose, other products. About hundreds of products can be made into a raw material, and that would be utilized for making the bioplastic production. So that's how we wanted to encourage to the startups, and we have 2-3 startups in this area. We have solar dryers. Nearly 2-3 startups are there in solar dryer, manufacturing different types of fruits and vegetables, and coming up with the best products. About 17 to 20 products are there right now with the startups, and they are in a good stage right now with a good marketing and demand, and also a good turnover they have reached. Food and processing sector, where the complete food baking and biscuit manufacturing with hundreds of products can be done by utilizing this machinery. And freeze drying technologies, like the freeze dryers, which will increase the shelf life to about 10 years. For the first time, we have installed here in this incubation center, and the spices and grain processing machinery, where you can do any kind of processing of the multigrains. Socks cluster, so that would support for healthy socks manufacturing, antibacterial, antimicrobial socks. About 1 lakh pieces you can do manufacturing per month. And electronics equipment with all the advanced you have oscillators, you have different types of equipment for all doing prototyping, makerspace, and also fab lab. Information technology with all softwares. So we have come up with a recent COVID-19 based startups, where the Jeremy is the one which was inaugurated back in June 2020 with the Home Minister of State and Honorable Minister for Home. And then we have our startup by name the Sirisha. She is the Jeremy inventor, where we have done this test in CCMB and also got the coronavirus inactivity test that is working. The device is working very well, and they are very much successful. And we have tested even the same in many of the hospitals, looking into different types of microbial tests. So we have created a biodegradable, a bioplastic based apron or hazmat suit, the same our machinery was being used, and we have created these kind of suits. So that's completely biodegradable 100%. So one of our startup have come up with an oxygen concentrator. There are 2 more people are in the pipeline with the oxygen concentrators, looking for a good support, financial support, and we have connected them to the AM Niti Aayog. So that's how we have been encouraged. So this is Germiban, where it kills the coronavirus with UVC light, coming with an ionization, and patent is pending. They have received provisional patent. And this is the test we have conducted our incubation center back in April 2020, when first lockdown was enforced, and all people are panicked. We have been working on the isolation wards by taking the instrument and doing the testing in the lab, where the microbial growth of air and surfaces were taken. The growth was shown before the instrument functioning. After the instrument on, we have seen no growth in the bacteria. So this is our biodegradable machines through which the hazmat suit or the apron was manufactured. So Kajus is the one where the cashew apple fruit juice was made by our innovator, and then she happened to do a very good the fruit with the vitamin C rich. It is also being used for coronavirus immunity boosting. And then solar dried products by Arca Foods, healthy farms, millet based foods, best food for these children. They have received a very good order for all the government schools in Telangana. So the drone technologies, Binford Research Labs. So these engineering students who have made the best drones that would payload that will uplift the payload of about 10 to 20 kgs. So Nimaya Robotics and device that would be used for autism spectrum disorder people and the children. So she has received a best accolades and awards in different forums. Acle Technologies coming up with an personalized learning with using AI for engineering colleges. I would like to connect you to Acle Technologies, to Bharat Institute of Engineering Technology, where they have every solution, best innovative solution, and they have received an ISOCHAM award recently. So this is what if this app would be taken up into your engineering college, this will give a complete integrated and a complete support to your students, faculty, and every educator. And that's how a end-to-end support would be given through this personalized learning app. And we do have partners of academic, corporate, and also many of the industries. Like, of course, we are also the industry association body. We have R&D institutes partnerships. We have academic institute partnership. So this is on the whole about the incubation center, and so that is how the startup should be supported, how a startup should be planned, and how the legal and ethical aspects should be there in covering an entire process, the journey, the best examples, and some of the startup case studies, and even the COVID solutions. We have the startups. So that's how I have covered. So this is the end of the session. I think the time is also up, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. If I have any questions, I'm ready to take.
Participants, please come up with questions.
Sir, my name is Ranveer, sir.
Any questions? Yeah, please introduce yourself.
My name is
And which college?
Bharat Engineering College. This program is for entrepreneurs or the company who want to open a company like that, sir.
Yes, of course. That's what.
Even the NISP. How come it is useful for the faculty who are working in engineering college?
That's what I'm saying. See, for the faculty, there is an NISP, National Innovation Startup Policy of 2019, that will clearly states that even that was enacted through ISE Indian, the innovation councils that would be instituted in innovation council that would be set up in all the education institutions. So the main aim is that to support the faculty and students. It has all the provisions, like the how the faculty would be supported in terms of giving the prototype development, product development, and approaching the incubation centers, and can open up your own startup company, or you can mingle with the student startup, and also having a share holding pattern and come up with a startup company. So that's how you are given a lot of provisions. Even you are given a lot of provisions in terms of giving you some kind of leaves and some of the best support from the institution as well. So that was discussed in NISP 2019. So that's how a faculty can become a startup, and this is the right time for you to become a startup, because we do have number of schemes, and Government of India have come up with a lot of hundreds of schemes, a lot of grant support for the prototype development, starting from 4 lakh rupees up to 25 lakh rupees for a prototype development, if you have a good idea, and also the POC stage model of your innovation. So this is the best way you can utilize. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? You can post in chat window also. We can read for you. So I think no questions are there.
Hello, sir. I have one question, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sir.
please.
I am Prashant Kulkarni. I am a associate professor in Bharat Institute of Engineering and Technology.
Right, sir.
Whenever we are starting any new startup, so actually we are in the education industry, and we don't know about the market, what is actually the need of the market, and whether whatever product we are designing, whether it will sustain in the market or not.
Correct.
So with how to decide how to survey the market, and how to check the feasibility of our product, whether our product will work in the market or not.
Right. Right. To which department you belongs to, sir, and what is your background?
I am in electronics and communication engineering, and my specialization is in wireless communication.
In wireless communication. Have you
Yes.
done any innovation, or do you have any kind of project proposal?
Yeah, actually I am working in the wireless sensor network and IoT technologies.
Very nice. So when you are working in wireless technologies and also IoT based, you can come up with a device based upon that. So nowadays, it's the best way, like, you can work out on RFID and also NFCs, and also clubbing with an IoT through a Bluetooth mesh technology, which I have just shown you. I think you have well understood about that. So
yes.
coming up with a device that will work for particular solution, if you have identified any problem statement and giving a solution by using these technologies, so that would become a good innovation. First of all, you have to do some kind of market research by connecting to your MBA department, and if there is any kind of any kind of limitation even from your end, of course there will be a limitation to the academy, because it's not basically an industry. So you can contact us, industries like us or incubation centers like us, where we can take you further and giving you some kind of market research data that would give you a gap in the in any of the technologies, and where you can look for any innovation in the same, and then come up with a device that has that is having a high demand in the market. So even you can look for any kind of market research. So because innovators should always look into the industry's gap, and you should work out with your innovation in such a way. I have broadly spoken about many times in my presentation about how you have to identify the problem, and how you have to identify that gap, and then how you have to relate your innovation, your technologies to that by finding a solution, and that will create a great demand. So that's another way of covering into the market. And your device will definitely have a demand, because you have identified the problem and made the solution. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have one more question.
Yes.
Student from Bharat Engineering College. Good afternoon, sir. I am Racha Aditya. Sir, what we should be holding to start the company? Do we need a prototype or complete blueprint of product?
So that's what I'm saying, like, you should have an POC, proof of concept, or your complete prototype document, where you have to define completely how the prototype should be made, what are the TRL stages, like technology readiness levels. There are about 9 levels. I have already told you that even the ISRO, NASA have been doing the same for a long time. And so that's how you have to define your TRL stages, and you have to know at what TRL stage you are in, whether you are in 0 stage, 1 stage, 2nd stage, 3rd stage. Then you have to collaborate with your professors or faculty or the scientists, and then you have to further develop that. If you find there is an investment required, then you can communicate to the incubation center, and then you can have a grant amount of 4 lakhs, 7 lakhs or 40 lakhs. Mostly for the prototype 4 lakhs would be given. So you start with such kind of grant amount from the mighty Tide 2.0 centers. There are about 30 of Tide 2.0 centers across India are present. We are also one of the mighty Tide 2.0 center. So even you can attend our pre-incubation program. So I'll be sharing the pre-incubation program through which within a 6 months of period you will come to know exactly how you have to develop your prototype or product or the blueprint of that. Yeah.
Right, sir. Any questions? Okay. So, any questions from faculty?
Okay, I think there are no questions. Mohan Babu sir, I would like you to propose the vote of thanks.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ma'am, Papia ma'am, I have a question to sir. Sir, myself, Dr. Suraya Begum, Associate Professor from CSC
Right.
Department, BIT. Sir, can you just tell me about a little about that biodegradable plastics you was just discussing?
So we have a bioplastic machine that where you pour a raw material, and then the raw material will be processed within the machinery to produce a bioplastic sheet. The bioplastic sheet can be utilized for any kind of customization, like you use the sheets for making a carry bags. You use the sheet for making any kind of packaging material for any industry, like food industry, like electronics industry. For any kind of industry, you use that plastic material as a packaging material. So that's how the machinery would be used. Now coming into the raw material, we use the raw material of starch based and cellulose based. So we have been encouraging the innovations on starch and cellulose based innovations, like you take biomass, you take any kind of plant based